Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's Jason William Johnson, and I want to welcome you to the Entrenality podcast live, where each week I have a conversation with an entrepreneur, and we talk about their success and what they've been doing through the lens of personality science. So this week, I'm really, really excited about this conversation. Really, really excited about this one. I already know this is going to be a good one. And we haven't talked in a minute, so I'm really excited about this one. So this evening, I have Chrishon Lampley, founder and CEO of Love Cork Screw. She's going to be joining us this evening. We're going to have we're going to learn her personality type, and then we're going to have a conversation about the psychology of her success. Just kind of looking at her challenges, her successes, and just kind of looking at it through the lens of her personality and understanding how she was able to leverage her personality skills and her unique characteristics to achieve success in entrepreneurship, business. I know she's a mentor to many, so this is going to be a really, really interesting conversation. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring on Chrishon. What up? What up? What up?
Hey, Jason, what's going on?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Amazing.
Awesome.
So happy
awesome.
to be here. Thanks for
I'm
having
happy
me.
to see you. I don't think I've seen you in person since the little barbecue I had last year and everything and all of that. So it's good to catch up. I was honored when you said you wanted to be on the podcast. So I'm really, really excited about it. I see you got your background in order. You got your.
Oh, good. No, I don't. It's a mess. This office is a mess.
I mean, you got the brand. You got the branding. You got.
Yes.
Got the strategy upload on the whiteboard. You over here cooking. You know what I mean? So pretty much, just really, really excited about having this conversation. And so let's go ahead and get into it. So the way we do this each week, we're going to learn your personality types. I'm going to give you a verbal personality assessment. And then from there, once we learn your personality type, we go ahead and get into the conversation. So pretty much, I've developed this four question verbal personality assessment. I'm sure you've taken the Myers-Briggs before, so you may even have your type already, but I want to see if I'm able to guess it. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So pretty much there's 4 different dimensions of human personality. So I'm gonna describe 2 types of scenarios and 2 types of persons in each one of those dimensions, and you tell me which one sounds more like you. Now, in the event that both of those options sound like you, pick the one that you would choose if somebody put a gun to your head. So if somebody put a gun to your head, like, are you an E or you an I or whatever, like that's the one you would choose. All right. So don't think about it. If it's close, just use your instinct. And then once we understand your personality type, we can go ahead and get into the conversation. So first dimension of human personality type focuses on how you prefer to recharge. The first type of person recharges by being around others. Socialization gives them energy and it reinvigorates them. If they're alone for a long period of time, it may drain them. After a long week, they enjoy recharging by being around others, engaging in activities, and just doing things to increase their energy bar in that regard. The second type of person recharges by being alone. They may enjoy socializing, but after a while, they got to be alone with themselves, light a candle, et cetera, et cetera. Overall, socialization drains their energy bar. So which one sounds more like you, the first one or the second?
Number 2.
Number 2. All right. Second dimension focuses on what type of information you prefer. The first type of person prefers information that's concrete and tangible. If they can't touch it, see it, taste it, or smell it, it doesn't hold as much value to them. They like information that's tried, true, and proven. They're not really comfortable with experimentation. And they like information that's within their five senses, that they can touch, that they can feel, that they can experience directly. The second type of person lives in the world of ideas and concepts. So they love looking at data and like identifying patterns that may not be readily available or opportunities that may not be readily available. They're very comfortable with experimentation. They're more big picture oriented than present oriented. They're more big picture oriented, detail oriented, and they're more future oriented than present oriented. Which one sounds more like you?
I'm a mix of both, but one.
So you say you're gonna go with the first one?
I'm gonna go with the first one.
Okay.
I gotta touch it.
Okay. Third dimension focuses on how you prefer to make decisions. The first type of person makes decisions based on what they perceive to be a set of logical rules and principles. They can't touch it, see it, taste it, or smell it. It doesn't hold as much of value to them. They like things that's tried, true, and proven. And they're I'm sorry. Let me reframe that. So the first type of person makes decisions based on what they perceive to be a set of logical rules and principles. They don't consider their feelings or the feelings of others as much as the information itself. So they strive to be objective in their decision making, and they're more they trust their mind more than their heart. The second type of person prefers to make decisions based on what they consider the human element. So they consider their feelings, the feelings of others, and their own values when making a decision. They strive for harmony in decision making, and they trust their heart more than their mind. Which one sounds more like you?
My heart, number 2.
All right. Last dimension focuses on how you prefer to structure your lifestyle. The first type of person prefers to structure their lifestyle. They're more organized and structured. So, they have their to-do lists. They tend to execute through that to-do list, and they like to have things planned out and established. Pretty much these individuals, they may even plan their leisure time. They just like to be able to be organized and structured. They like to be able to come to know how their resources are committed, et cetera, et cetera. The second type of person, they structure their lifestyle. They're more flexible. They go with the flow. They may have some things that they want to take care of, but they kind of let the day take care of it. They don't really plan their leisure time. They kind of let things happen and come as they may come. Which one sounds more like you, the first or the second?
Number 2, I let things happen the way they come.
All right. So based on what you shared, I'm about to let you know your personality type. All right, pulling it up. All right.
Really?
So pretty much I have you as an ISFP. So an ISFP is an introvert. So you prefer to recharge by being alone. You need that time to, reflect and to focus on recharging and things like that. You're a sensor, which means you like things that's more tried, true, and proven, though you do say you kind of flex on the other side as well, right?
I do.
You're a feeler, which means you make decisions based on harmony and your heart and values. And then you're a perceiver, which means you're more flexible and you go with the flow. So pretty much I'll tell you a little bit about yourself and tell me if this sounds like you. So pretty much ISFPs are like the artisans and the craftsmen in the world, right? So they're really big on aesthetic. They're really big on experiencing life through the five senses. They like the best food, the best wine.
You think?
They're really big on appearances. As far as beautiful environments, things like that. Another thing about the ISFP is you operate from an internal value system that guides everything that you do, right? So you have an internal set of beliefs. You have an individualistic characteristic. You're very individualistic. So you have your own unique sense of style, your own unique sense of, getting things done. You just have this unique artistic expression almost, if you will, where it's really, really important about being true to yourself and expressing your individuality, right? And then, through that, You may explore that in the physical world through, business. You may explore it through, activities and adventures. And then particularly with the ISFP, since they're kind of artistic in nature, you may demonstrate it through brands, through experiences that you create, those type of things, right? So the ISFP is Michael Jackson was an ISFP, just to give you some perspective. So Michael Jackson was about mastering his craft, but also creating this sense of magic and creating an experience for individuals in which he could express his unique characteristics and his unique individuality and things like that. So,
but still an introvert. So I see
but
that.
still an introvert, right? But yeah. So, like, how does that sound? Does that sound pretty accurate, or?
That really was very accurate. Very just that's how I function, and I create when I'm by myself. I love just to go with the flow with things, but still I do have a structure, and I do know when to say no and what makes sense. But my creativity is what makes me love corkscrew. Makes sense?
Right, absolutely, absolutely. So let's go ahead and get into the conversation. So pretty much, I know when I first met you, you guys, I think you were fresh off of like closing down 3P. So I used to hear about amazing things like with Wine and Love and the different events, which was the precursor to Tequila Tales. I gotta get Isaac on here one of these days, and Casey.
Yeah.
But pretty much, I remember like you just going through this period of bouncing back, if you will, right? You kind of was, kind of like, okay, what's the next adventure? What's the next, thing I want to accomplish, et cetera, et cetera. Like, what was the experience during that period? Like what pushed you to keep on going forward? Like, what prevented you from just saying, I tried this and this didn't work out, I'm just going to hang it up? What kept you going in that regard?
My heart was still beating. And I knew I had a purpose, and I wasn't sure what it was. Entrepreneur has always been my thing and what I wanted to do. I was sick of working for everyone else and wanted to do something on my own. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times, they say God laughs when you have a plan. So it was very much of, okay, I'm still here. I might have lost everything, but I'm still here. So what is my purpose? What is that? I just have to let it find me and let my passion find me. And that's what kept me going. And for those of you that know the story, it was simply turning Love Cork Screw from a blog to a radio show and to a growing brand. And now I'm, almost 10 years in, over 1 million bottles sold. And you keep going. You had to keep going. You don't know what that purpose is yet. You just got to keep going. So it was my heart. It was my heart.
Awesome. And then like one of the things that you've done masterfully is like leveraging social media to create experience, like that whole experience of what Love Cork Screw is. I actually remember you reached out to certain some of your colleagues and friends, and I think I was one of them. And you had us do videos of what does Love Cork Screw mean to you?
Heck yeah!
And then I said some artistic shit. It was fire. I forgot what I said, but
it was. I remember. Oh my gosh!
But like, what was the inspiration for that? Because I think like that started creating the community around what you were building. Like we didn't see what was coming all the way moving forward. I'm sure you had the vision, but like, what was the motivation behind that? Like that idea.
Me being that introvert and not growing up in Chicago, so not growing up in the city. And when I met everyone and started to meet everyone from 3Ps, and then I just met some of the most amazing people, and you all had a place in my heart, and I all trust you. I'm very, very intuitive, and the people that I trust, you're in with me, and I'll jump. Just like you want me to do the show, I'm going to jump for you, whatever you need. And I just took all the people that I trusted and grew to know through the years. And I said, you know what? I know I took care of you guys in some way or another. I know you guys will take care of me back. Mm-hmm. And it was that simple. And literally everyone I reached out to sent me a text, sent me an email, sent me a video. And they were like, gotcha, Chrishon. What else you need? Right, and that was amazing. That warmed my heart. And that was the start of Love Cork Screw. It was amazing.
Yep, absolutely. So what gave you the idea to extend it to the wine brand from the radio show and the blog?
Doing something that everyone told me I couldn't do and not making any money. I didn't make any money off a blog. I don't know how to write, but I knew I had something to tell. I knew I had a story to tell. I knew I had a brand to build. I wasn't sure where it was going to go, but I knew it was going to turn into something. When I did the radio show, I'm like, okay, I'm good. I got a nice little voice here. I can talk and I can vent. And it was my outlet. It was my way of just letting go. of everything and having a good time. I did Love Cork Screw Radio with Isaac, and it was just, again, to get out there, to tell some of my experiences, from everything from sales and marketing. I had 25 years of sales and marketing. So just to get out there and have some fun, and people don't know I'm kind of funny too. So I want to have a good time. And then I said, I'm going to do something that everyone told me I could not do. And that started Wine Brand. I had experience in the wine industry. I knew what was missing. And I knew there was no women in BIPOC in the industry, still less than 1% of us. And I'm talking 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So I knew that it was missing, and I'm the person to do something that everyone tells me I cannot do. And I started Love Cork Screw, again, almost 10 years ago now.
Yeah, I remember when you first dropped the first couple bottles. I think it was, what was it? Wasn't it the Cabernet?
Probably Head Over Heels.
It was
probably the Cabernet. We're moving on up, and Head Over Heels.
Yeah, those were the two that you first. And I was just like, damn, son, Chrishon got a wine brand now. Like how you do that? Like, I'm gonna be honest, just like from like the outside, for people who knew you, but from the outside looking in, it was just like that shit was like hella impressive. Like how do you like do that, right? Like you go from like, and then you was kind of low key about it too. You just kind of popped out with it, like, you know, here we are, and we in these locations starting off like from day one. And like, you know, like for people who want to like get in that space, right? Because, you know, it's less than 1%, you know, Blacks, and then women, et cetera, et cetera. Like, what would be some recommendations for you that you would give people who want to get in that space? Maybe have a private label wine or a private label spirit. Like, what would be some like starting points like for them to get in?
Well, it starts with what you said, that I was low key with it. I actually wasn't. So I was I don't want to say using, but I was taking my network and building trust.
Mm-hmm.
All of you guys trusted me. Whatever I came out with, you were going to trust where I was going, because I built that trust with everyone that I met at 3Ps, everyone I met in the city hanging out. All of you know that I wasn't going to give you some bullshit. You knew I was not. So I wanted to make sure that I had my network built before I even thought about building a brand. And I wanted to stay in communication with everybody and go out and still be seen, even though I didn't own the bar anymore. I still wanted to be out there and know, hey, Chrishon ain't going nowhere. So I really wasn't low key with it. I was building while I was keeping my network. So that is my transition to answer the question. If you want to come out with a brand, whether it be in wine and spirits, build your network first. I mentor people all the time and say, hey, people have to believe you. I was already known to like wine. I was already known to go to restaurants that were great. I was already known to be in the scene already and know what was hot and what was in, because that's where I lived and breathed. I worked on the Avenue, on Michigan Avenue for years. So I knew everybody and knew what was high end in fashion and what was hot and what was not. So it's people believing in you. You can't just say, I like wine, so I'm gonna start a wine brand. Yeah, good luck. Or I drink whiskey, so I need a whiskey brand. Good luck. You need about $500,000 to start either one of those. So what you gonna do? So you have to build that following, make sure that people believe you. Take some of these courses that are out there for both. The WSET courses for wine, there's ones for sake, there's ones for spirit. There's so many things at people's fingertips that I never had any of that available to me, with scholarships that they're giving away from nonprofit organizations for people, women in BIPOC, to get in the wine and spirit game. So first, make sure people believe you. Take some courses to know this is really what you want to do, because it's not as sexy as it looks. And then eventually, when you start talking to us, intern with me. Do an internship with some of the other wine brands or spirit brands. Go to a wine shop or a shop and say, hey, can I just pack some boxes just to see what's going on? Really get to know this industry before you jump in just for it to be sexy. Celebrities don't make it in this industry. So what makes you think you will if people don't believe you? So it takes time.
Yeah, and one thing I will say, like when you launched, it was completely on brand for you, right? Because pretty much like that's what you were known for. Like, you know, you had 3Ps, you know. I mean, every time, you know, we were somewhere, you was drinking the finest wine, you know, you was holding your cup the right, you was holding your chalice the right way, you know, the appropriate way. People be correcting they shit, like, let me hold it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it was
at the Tequila Tales, what am I doing? Drinking wine when I'm walking around with the mic.
Exactly. Exactly. And the interesting thing about that, when you look at it from a personality perspective, that's so in personality psychology, there's what's called the cognitive functions that create like the personality type. And your dominant functions was called introverted feeling. And like I stated, that's like that individual expression. It's almost like a brand, almost, if you will, because it's like that individual, is that individuality, is that individual expression. It's like that signature that you create as far as like either your experiences or people's experience with you, et cetera, et cetera. Like you were building that, and that's just kind of naturally a part of your personality, like that self-expression, creating
Absolutely.
that brand, creating that this is who I am. Like when you think of me, you think of this, you think of that, you think of this. Like you were already creating that. So that makes a whole lot of sense from a personality perspective, that you decided like, okay, before I release this, let me go ahead and like, like
Let me work.
solidify what
Let me
my values are,
build. Yes.
solidify what the
Yes.
experience of engaging with Chrishon Lampley is, et cetera, et cetera. So pretty much when you launched it, it just made a whole lot of sense, and it was completely on brand and everything and all of that. So
And it took time, but I
yeah,
wanted it to make sense. And literally my first two accounts was Kim Bark Liquor and Mariano's. And after that, I haven't looked back.
yep.
Walmart, Target, Whole Foods, Total Wines and More, Meyer, just to name a few, Jewel Osco, you name it.
And then what you did that I thought was dope was, as you open in, like as you were like placed in new locations, you were always posted on social, and then
Heck yeah.
we'd be all out there.
Buy me out. Yeah.
Yeah, and we would be on there. We'd be taking pictures, like Chrishon, I got you, girl. Like I remember we used to do that
Yes.
and everything and all of that. So
It would
like,
make me cry, and I'm not kidding. Like I cried about it because I knew I did not have a marketing budget that a lot of these companies did. But what did I have? The social network. I had you all. I had the ability to be very transparent on social media and to really pull at the heartstrings to understand the hard work that I went through. So it's all about call to action, right? And I had to say to everyone, because I didn't have a marketing team or a firm to help me, I had to say, hey, y'all, I need your help. Buy me out. This is the location. This is the shelf it's on. This is where I'm at. Help me out. And again, 1,000,000 bottles sold today.
I'm so proud of you, man. A million, but that sounds so. That's like dope. 1,000,000 bottles sold. Like that's, man. Because I remember when you first got it started and everything and all of that. So to hear,
I was happy with a case
and
years ago.
and then what's funny is like whenever I go to like a dinner party and like I'm like, all right, are you familiar with Love Cork Screw? And I always have the whole story telling them about you. One of the
I
few,
love it.
black women in the
Thank
wine
you.
industry, like, and to a letter, people love it because it's good stuff. I mean, you wouldn't have it any other way. You know what I mean? It's
I would
really,
not.
really good
I would
stuff.
not.
So pretty much, like, let's kind of, and I know pretty much, you're very transparent, just in general about your story. But like, let's kind of think about like what were some of those big challenges like early on getting started? Like, what were some of those big challenges, those things that kept you up at night, and how did you address those?
Oh gosh, I'm still having challenges and still up at night.
It never ends.
But it's
It never ends as a
no,
business
it never
owner. I know,
ends. It
but
never
like
ends.
early
But
on, and like that
yeah,
growth phase, because you kind of you established enough now. I mean, I know you still want to go more, like, but you 10 years in the game. Most businesses fail
yeah,
after 5, right? So,
yep,
so there's some maturity to you, right? And and you got you in a lot of locations, et cetera, et cetera. But early on, when it was like nascent, still, when you got those first two
yeah.
accounts, but you were still trying to like, what were some of the early challenges during that period?
Funding. It was all about money because I did not start with anything. I definitely did not start with a reserve for contingency. It was just a feeling that this was it and this is what I wanted to do. However, I didn't hold inventory. So I was able to still function. So even if I had zero in my bank account, I was still able to function. So it was definitely always scary to look at the bank account and say, okay, I only have this amount of much money, but these people owe me in invoices when it comes to distributors and things. So definitely financing. And I know that's always still a problem with small businesses, but
Mhm.
that's what kept me up at night. I knew, again, that I had the network. I knew I had good product. I knew I had a good vision. And I knew that Love Cork Screw was going to be hot one way or another, whether it was mentoring, whether it was a wine brand specifically going into different locations, whether it be tastings. I knew I had so many different options to grow in the wine industry, but definitely financing, money would still makes my neck hurt thinking about it. But I made it through. I made it through that initial hump. And yeah, 10 years down the road.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. So I'm glad you was able to have that perseverance. So one of the things that I think you do well with the business is you do a great job. And again, it's that combination of, in your personality type is was that introverted feeling, which is like
Yeah.
your unique values, your unique aesthetic perspective, combined with extroverted sensing. So extroverted sensing is what's called your auxiliary function in your personality type, and that's about like experiencing the world through the five senses, through fashion, through through smell, taste, through a beautiful environment, music, etc., etc. Like it's like the physical sensation, the stimulation, function within the personality type. And I think you do a good job of like merging those two aspects of your personality type to create experiences around the brand. Like what's like, so like, be it a video, be it like a dinner with a wine pairing and tasting, like you do an amazing job of creating like these experiences around like the brand. Like what advice would you give people like who want to like kind of create more of an immersive experience around their product or their service or their brand? Like how do you conjure these things up? And then like what is some advice you would give to some people like who wanted to do something similar and have a similar effect?
If it's your brand and you're in it, you live it and breathe it. I am Love Cork Screw. That is who I am. I am the wine lady. I am Love Cork Screw. So I think about what would make me happy. I like to entertain. So I think about, okay, when I have a party or a function where I'm eating this, what would I like? What experience would I like? But also being a salesperson and a marketing person for so many years, I listen. A lot of times, wine connoisseurs tend to just go with exactly what they want and like, and not think about the other customers. And that's the one part that I knew I had in sales, that I want to listen to everyone. I used to do a tastings in stores myself. Now, thank goodness I have ambassadors to do it. But when I started, I would listen to all the customers, what was missing. If somebody says, oh, I don't like that, or oh, I love that, listen to what they were saying, the keywords. And I would write that down and I would say, okay, this is what the client wants to experience. Or I would look at the different demographics that was drinking my wine, whether it be in the grocery store, whether it be at certain restaurants and things. So I paid attention. And at the end of the day, I always say, enjoy it, drink it, and overthink it. My brand is called Love Cork Screw, for God's sake. This is a $130 billion industry, and I knew what was missing, and that was not so snobbish wine, but really good wine. I wanted it to be fun. I want you to talk about the labels and laugh and joke or give it to promotions. So when I saw that, a little bit of everything. I saw that connoisseur saying, this would be an awesome wine just to have for dinner each night when I have my glass of wine. I knew from the wine novice, oh my God, I'm going to buy every one of these and gift it to everyone during the holidays. And that's exactly what happened. So it's creating an experience that's not intimidating. And I knew that's what I needed. So my suggestion for people creating your brands, think about what you want the feeling for that brand to be. Think about who your demographics is, and it will all make sense. Don't overthink it, and you will never make everyone happy. There's people that love corkscrew. There's people that don't like Love Cork Screw, and that's okay. You are not insulting me, because wine is subjective, and most products, goods, are very subjective. So you have to go with the punches, but it has to make sense for you. You have to stay true to it, and you have to be transparent with it. And there's always a story. People buy into me and my story. There's thousands of wines out there, but they love Cork Screw for a reason, and that makes me really happy.
Yeah, I know one of the things that I love about it is like it's like black, but it's like bougie black a little bit. Like not approachable though. You know what I mean? Like when you look at the labels, like where it's like moving on up. We go high, like all of the brands, like all of the names are like black folks would be like, oh yeah, I see where she got that from, et cetera, et cetera. And then it's like people who aren't as familiar with the culture, oh, that's like a nice name. They don't, even if they don't like get the reference, it's like most people get moving on up. But even if they don't get the reference, it's like they say, oh, this is nice, this is creative, this is cute. So it's like you have this, it's almost like that inside joke. or like that inside, like we know, but like even
That's what I
girls who
wanted.
don't know, they still resonate with it. And I think that was like
And
brilliantly
some
like,
of it is not even what I thought. So a lot of people reference my Hard Knock Life to Jay-Z.
yep.
I wanted to be Annie when I was in musicals. I was in musicals all the time growing up, and I had red hair, and I always wanted to be Annie. So that's where I got it from. It's red, Hard Knock Life. It's a Hard Knock Life. So, but other people think of Jay-Z. Same thing with Touch the Sky. I thought the Niagara being just this perfect color of the sun.
I
People
thought
like,
yay
no, that's
all day. I
Kanye.
thought yay
So
all day. I thought so like
I
so you
didn't.
did it by accident.
Accident. Total.
Yeah.
I thought about the sun, touch the sky. Had no reference to Kanye,
Literally, I
but
thought
that's what I want. That's what I want. We go high. People don't know that I was referencing
Michelle.
Michelle Obama. Others, for things that are legal now, think of it a little differently as we go
Right.
high. So
Right.
that's what I love. It's supposed to be a double entendre. You're supposed to take it how you want to and have fun. Enjoy. People are so snobby. Sometimes you can't even read these labels. You don't know what you're reading. Don't act like you know what you see on that bottle because you don't. Sometimes it's just fun to remember. You know what? I don't remember if it was a Cabernet Sauvignon, but I remember it was called "We're Moving On Up" from the
Mm-hmm.
Jeffersons, and
Yep.
that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So like, yeah, you know, it's so funny. The art in that is like the fact that like with art, we take our own personal experiences and we inject them into the canvas, if you will. So it's almost like you
Yes.
create this canvas where, you know, depending on a person's background, because I'm thinking you did it on purpose. Like, you know, I'm thinking like Touch the Sky, Hard Knock Life. Like I'm,
Not at all.
like I like, but like it was something else, you know. So that's really, really interesting right there. So you know, one of the few black women in this space. I know there's a couple more now, but when you started, it was really, really like you were like one of the only ones, if not. Like, what were some of the challenges with that? You know, being an African American woman, you know, and in a space where you know it's not a lot of people who look like you in it.
I'll take it a step further. Being from the Midwest in Chicago, they're
Mm,
like, "Yeah, right.
that's a
Yeah,
good point
right. What do you
because
know
like if you're
about
not
wine?
in Napa, like that's a good point. That's
If you're not
another.
in California, you know nothing about wine. Is the thought process. Also, the thought process is there's no good wine in the Midwest. Funny though, some of my largest clients that buy the Concord and Niagara, which are my sweet wines, are from California. How
Mm,
funny, right? Because they can't produce Niagara and Concord in those regions. So it's really been interesting to not be taken seriously on all levels, on all levels. So it's very much nonstop proving myself to everyone, to people that look like me. I have to prove myself. To people that don't look like me, I have to prove myself. So it's a nonstop. Yes, I'm the owner. I think that was one of the top Google searches. Who owns Love Cork Screw? To see if somebody else owns it besides me. It's does she really know about wine? 10 years later, I must know a little bit, right? So it's always a challenge because some of my counterparts don't get the same questions that I get when
right.
I'm in a boardroom, when I'm at a wine festival. I get more challenged than somebody right next to me. And it used to get to me. It used to hurt my feelings. Now it doesn't because I'm used to it. So pretty much my answers just roll off my tongue because I know, I know I'm not supposed to look like this when it comes to being a wine negociant. And that's okay because that's going to make me strive even harder and do more and work more. So I'm used to it. But every day is a challenge. Every day is a challenge. I get weird looks, but it's okay.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can only imagine like what you're going through day to day, and to have the confidence, like to continue to press on, et cetera, and to be able to still overcome. Like I give you kudos on that, right? That it takes a lot of perseverance, takes a lot of self confidence and self belief and knowledge of self, right? Going back to that whole aspect of your personality, that sense of this is who I am, this is what I stand for, and nobody can tell me otherwise. You know,
No.
like dog, getting back to that is really, really important. Like, so question, what do you feel is like your superpower person, as far as your personality? Like, what do you feel like your superpowers are?
Perseverance, hands down. I since a young age, I've grown up in an environment where I had to persevere. From being the first Black kid in my whole entire area, being called the N word, being chased, all that. So I persevere, and that's definitely would be the big point of thought process when things are failing, things are go wrong. I cry for like 30 seconds and then I get back up and work harder and do more. So I'm not going to stop. And that's one thing. I tend to tell people a lot, I'm not a hustler by any means.
Mm-hmm.
I go straight ahead with blinders. This is my vision. This is what I want. I will pivot when need be, but I'm still staying in these lines because this is what I'm good at. So I don't hustle, but I persevere to get through to whatever that end goal is. And that's definitely my strong point.
So, conversely, what do you feel like your kryptonite is?
Kryptonite, you know what? I'm gonna be super transparent now. I know a lot of Chicagoans are listening and people that know me. For those that know me, may think I'm very strong. But hearsay, I would say, is my kryptonite. Because I'm so transparent, that's what bugs me. There are perceptions about me, who I am, and I don't bug anybody. Nobody can say I did anything to anybody personally, ever. But if you have a perception of who I am, how about just ask me? Just ask me.
Mm-hmm.
Chrishon, why didn't you do that event for me? Hey, that was 7 years ago. I didn't have any money to.
Wow.
So when you thought I was killing the game, I was not. I was working hard to stay alive and survive. I tried to pay my mortgage. I tried to keep a business going. I had to pay all these lawyer fees for licensing. So ask me, because I'm beyond transparent. But don't go with hearsay about who you think Chrishon is. And that's would be my biggest kryptonite. I remember when we were on CNBC, the job interview, first time on national television.
Mm-hmm.
It was unbelievable, the things that were being said from the public eye. You know, they always say that when you hit national, exposure, you'll be shocked what people say about you.
Mm-hmm.
People that have never met me a day in my life. I'm like, wait, what? We were getting nasty emails to my publicist and everything. It was crazy. And it used to get to me, like my heart was broken. Because I'm thinking when I got these 1,000 emails, they were people supporting Love Cork Screw. No, they were saying, your wine sucks. Well, you never drank it because I couldn't even ship at that time. So what do you mean? If you live in Seattle, you never had it. So what are you talking about? So I would say that would be my kryptonite, hearsay, because I'm so honest and transparent. Just ask me.
Yeah. And one of the unfortunate things about the times that we live in with the internet, it makes a lot of people gangster who otherwise wouldn't be, right? And it becomes an outlet for people to like spread hurt. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like dump and try to like dump their sadness and their and their discontent and everything on others, right? It becomes a dumping ground for that. And I tell people all the time, like, if you want to aspire to anything and be anything successful, like, it comes with the territory. Like, you're gonna have to learn how to manage that, right?
Absolutely.
And it's unfortunate, but it's just kind of like part of the territory. Like, you see, like, celebrities. Man. They get vitriol all day.
And you got to log off. I remember my publicist saying that because I would go on and look at everything when that was happening. And she's like, Chrishon, log off.
Yep.
And that was years ago. That was like 6-7 years ago. And to this day, I'm good. When it comes to something, a post that goes viral or an article, I think I was recently in Market Watch and people were saying this. I'm sick of hearing Black people in wine. That was going on. So what did I do? I logged off, never thought about it again. So you have to really ignore those cyber bullies. And it becomes difficult because the more, prestigious you get or the more known you get, the more it comes. But yeah, that is definitely my kryptonite, but I've managed it. And I'm able to say, you know what? If I'm never going to meet this person ever a day in my life, who cares? Or if you didn't ask me, I can't change your opinion. Mm-hmm. So you're going to just hold on to that. And that's okay. I'm still going to live and do my best.
Awesome. Yeah, that's the only thing you can do. So, I mean, you got some other stuff cracking too. Like, so obviously we spent a lot of time on Love Cork Screw, the wine, but you got the Lampley, you got a couple other things, going on. Tell us a little bit more about what you're cooking up now. Like, I hate that I was unable to make the Lampley.
It was epic. For anybody watching, please chime in and tell Jason how epic that.
I already knew we could not get a babysitter. Like, it was just like people. It was just hard. And
It
like,
was unbelievable. I'm
I
having
already
another
know,
one soon. I'll have another.
I already know it was because I know you. So I was just like, damn it, this shit gonna be.
Y'all, it was in a penthouse. It was
I
unbelievable.
was like, man, I'm gonna be
But
missing
so
cheeses that I never had before. And
I mean, we had security. We got stuff that people had never touched before.
yeah,
We had some of the best mixologists, you name it. It was unbelievable.
I
But
already
I
know.
think of the Lampley as so Love Cork Screw, I would say is my devil. The Lampley is my angel. So Lampley, for those you know, that's my last name, Lampley. A lot of people through the years have always told me it's such a strong last name,
It is.
very uncommon, and it just has strength to it. And I said to myself, when I retire and Love Corkscrew is sold and gone, what am I gonna do? What do I want to continue? And I said, you know what? When I'm traveling, because my plan is to travel to South Africa, source a Pinotage, a Chenin Blanc, go to Chile, do some more Sauvignon Blancs. I'm going to go and find very unusual wines that are very, very small batch, maybe like 400 or 500 cases max. And I'm going to source it because I like it and I want to give exposure to some of these small wineries. Well, I thought the same thing about the extension of my home line because I love candles. For those you know, Love Corkscrew has wine scented candles.
Yep.
But the Lampley, I wanted more hibiscus and frankincense and all the other things that I love, right? That are more masculine and amazing and high end. So I said that what is going to be the name of this company? It's going to be called the Lampley. And what am I going to do? I'm going to make sure that every single purveyor that makes something for the Lampley is a woman or BIPOC. And that's exactly what I did. So the candles, the diffusers, the botanical soaps, every single piece is made by a BIPOC or woman or woman. So that is what the Lampley it's going to be right now. It's very exclusive. It's only on the website on the lampley.com. And I'm going to enjoy it. And that's going to be part of my retirement. And it's just, like I said, that's my angel. And all the bottles have my family on it. So my demi-sec that I produce has my mother on it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
those are
Yeah.
dope.
So it's my heart. It's my heart.
Yeah, those are dope. Yeah, I remember seeing that. So pretty much, so you got the Lamp League going on. I know you've been doing some mentoring and coaching for
Yes.
like business owners, people who want to be who are launching businesses in business. Like what's that's been like, and what's been the most gratifying aspect of that?
It's been amazing because I'm able to I love talking to people, and I've been able to touch someone via Zoom very quickly, easily, a 30-minute or hour session, and just talk. A lot of times I think we get overwhelmed and an overload of information when it comes to panel discussions and things, or you just don't get what you need. So I said, you know what, let me talk. I've been through the grind. I'm an expert of grind. I've built this business from nothing for 10
Mhm.
years. So what I want to do is just have a discussion, talk about it, talk about a lot of people that are not even in the wine industry. Some people that have businesses for 20 some years come to me and say, okay, Chrishon, but we don't know how to do social media. How do you do this? Or how do you get all these write-ups and these articles about you and on TV all the time? So just having a conversation, and that helps me give back because my schedule is freaking insane. So if I can take an hour out of my day, a half an hour out of my day to help someone, I will. So that's what the business forum does. It literally is me talking to somebody and having a discussion. They're taking notes, and everyone has given me rave reviews. And I said, you know what? Don't waste my time or your time if you're not going to listen, because I'm here to help you. And I need you to follow up, and I'm going to watch you. I'm going to watch to see if you still have these blurry pictures on your site because you didn't wipe off your phone. I'm going to see if you actually posted and not posting just your boo. Post exactly what you want to do. So it's things like that that I have these hard conversations, and it's been wonderful.
Awesome. So pretty much as you've been building your business, you've been building the team, right? So obviously, teamwork makes the dream work. So tell me a little bit about like the culture you created with your team. The things that you value about them, maybe even highlight some of the unique people on your team, what their strengths are. Just give us a little bit more because I know everybody sees you, but I already know there's a really strong team behind everything that you're doing.
I do have a team. I have a team about 8 people now, which is small to some businesses, but big for my business. It has been amazing because my team all came to me, which is just almost impossible, right? For you to get a team that says, Chrishon, I want to work for you. You don't even have to pay me. I got to be on this, whatever this is. And that's what happened to me with two of my amazing team members years ago. And they've been with me over 6 years now. It's been amazing because, it's one of those things where a small business owner, you try to do everything, but you have to realize what you lack and what you're not good at. So what I needed was a creative director. So all the images you see, did you see Christian DeMar? He's unbelievable. He's my creative director. He creates all content. Amazing. Aikita Lockhart, who is now my business manager, she handles all the events and event planning and all the scheduling for Love Cork Screw. My amazing ambassadors, which is so important. People that do all the tastings for me and travel with me has been awesome. And I also have a key accounts manager, operations manager, and growing. So what the team does for me is keep me where I need to be because I'm the salesperson. So I need to pitch to the national buyers. I need to talk to the trade developers for the distributors. I need to grow. We went from 2 states to 15 states in the matter of 6 months. It's a lot. And it's nonstop. So the beauty of my team is they're sold, like they love Cork Screw. I sometimes tend to say nobody will love your baby as much as you love it. However, your team around you, if they believe in you and they believe in the vision, you'll be amazed what they can do. Also, don't get offended if some don't last. I've had some that have come in, ambassadors that came and gone, assistants that have come and gone, but they did something great for me in that time. And I hope I did something great for them in that time. I've definitely built some resumes. So you can't get offended by that. It's just business, and you just have to keep moving. So I definitely have a family around me. I treat them very well. They travel with me. I took 2 team members to Napa for a week. I just took 2 team members to Essence Fest. So everything taken care of. So I treat them well because they treat me well and they grow my business. So you got to treat your employees well.
Awesome. So pretty much, what advice would you give to somebody with your personality type, like with your same strengths, similar strengths, similar perspective, like somebody who's also an ISFP? What advice would you give them?
Use your intuition, but don't let that hurt you. I am intuitive like no other. However, you can easily take things personal. So don't do that, because when you create, you want everybody to love what you just created. But sometimes you got to step back and listen to those people that are saying, wait. Okay. Like they have to take a lasso and kind of bring that wild boar back. I'm the wild boar. I'm going to keep moving. Somebody's got to grab me sometimes and say, okay, how do we make this make sense? So I need that person that is organized, that can do 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is how we're going to get to that end goal, Chrishon. So I say, don't get your feelings hurt. Keep your creative side going, write it down, and know it does work. It will work, but sometimes maybe it just needs a little tweaking. So stop getting your feelings hurt. Because I used to get mad. I used to get upset. Like, how do you not think that's fantastic? Like, how do you not? What do you mean? That's great. And then people look at me like, wah, wah, wah. So don't get your feelings hurt, and know that you need to continue creating and continue helping people, and that's going to energize you.
And it's interesting that you bring that up because the ISFP and the INFP, and you're close on both. Like you said you're like 50-50, but you're more of the S than the N as far as being more concrete than more, visionary per se. Like that's a core issue with both of them. Like, so for example, the NBA player, Kevin Durant, ISFP, and people criticizing him. Now he want to leave. Like, I don't want to play in Brooklyn no more. Right. Like oftentimes, like, I think that piece of advice for the ISFP and the INFP personality types, due to the fact that, you do feel like your art or your business is you, right? It's an expression of yourself. So as you put it out there, it's actually a level of vulnerability that you're putting out there because it's part of who you are. And when somebody criticizes it unfairly, it almost feels like you're being criticized unfairly. So
yes, I feel like it's me, right? And that's what you gotta stop.
Because it is you. And you said earlier, like, I am Love Cork Screw. Like,
I am.
Like, yeah. So it is you. But that's the interesting thing about people with your personality type is it is you. It's like you're putting your own individual expression. This is like you, your personality manifested into the world, right?
Exactly.
So you've had to learn how to like not productize it per se, but when criticism comes, to kind of like separate the criticism and recognize,
You
or
do.
but also recognize like, okay, I know where I'm going, what my vision is, and I'm not going to let nobody deter me from that, or you don't see what I see, et cetera, et cetera. But I think that's a real,
Exactly.
yeah, I thought that was a really
I-
important piece of advice for people with your personality type, because like that does happen. Like, people will
oh,
criticize
all the
what
time.
they're putting out there, and some people, they'll just be like, all right, my
I
check
just don't like it.
in.
Like it's one of those things you have to take that I definitely take constructive criticism. Don't get me wrong. However, what happens sometimes with my personality is when somebody just plain out criticizes just
Yep.
because, well, I don't like none of your wines. Okay, so you're telling me you tried every last one of them and you didn't like any of them. Stop it. Did you really? Or do you just don't like me? Or you just don't like the name Love Cork Screw? That's okay. That's okay, because there's thousands of other people that do and growing. So you have to get out of your heart sometimes and step away and just look at the business. There's plenty of amazing wines, there's plenty of amazing whiskeys, there's plenty of amazing vodkas, there's plenty of amazing crowds that people just don't like just because they're not going to like it. That's okay. That's okay. And then you just got to push through and move on. So sometimes you got to take your heart out of it and just step back, understand the why, talk to some people, peel back, and then keep going.
And then also, like, I would also say, like, have a balanced perspective, because, like,
Yes.
sometimes if you're creating something, like, everybody will tell you it's dope, but then that one person who criticizes it is the one that you can't forget about, or you get upset about, et cetera, et cetera. Like, don't give like undue influence or undue weight to like negative things. Like, look at the balance. Like, now if everybody's saying it's a different story, then maybe you need to make some adjustments, et cetera, et cetera. But
Exactly.
if like not eight out of 10 times you meet someone and they love your product, your service, or whatever you're offering, and those two people don't, I mean, no business is for everybody anyway. They're not.
Period.
They're
Not
not
everybody
your
is for
ideal customer.
everybody.
They're not your ideal customer. Yeah, it's simple as that.
It's okay.
And I
It's
think
okay.
that's such important advice for people who have an ISFP personality type or an INFP person. That's like really, really important to like.
Yes, our heart gets tied up real quick because it's everything to us. Everything we do is everything to us. People, all my people around me, all of y'all, I love all you guys. So there's certain things that the circle that we keep, and the business that we keep, and everything that operates and keeps us going is usually attached to our heart. So we have to sometimes just say, okay, whew, stop taking things so personal, because sometimes it's not about you.
Yeah, absolutely. So last, question, or discussion piece. 5 years from now, where are you?
5 years from now, 5 years from now, Love Cork Screw is sold, and I am traveling the world. I'm getting old. People might not know how old I am, so I'm getting up there. So I don't plan on working for the rest of my life. Like one of the best songs that's out now. It's kind of ratchet, but it's amazing. It's "Cash In, Cash Out"
Mm-hmm.
by Pharrell. That is like my anthem. I've worked my bleep off this long. So at year 14 in this business, I want to have it sold. I have a number in my head. It's not small, not small by any means. And then I want to enjoy the rest of my life. I think sometimes we can run our businesses too long, run them into the ground, or think that our kids or grandkids want to run your business. That's not their dream. That's your dream.
Yep.
That wasn't their dream. So don't force them on that
That's
dream.
100.
No.
That's 100.
That's not leaving a legacy if they don't want it,
Mm-hmm.
because they saw your struggle. That makes them want it even less. They're like, okay, hey, thanks, mom and dad, but that's a little too much for me. And me, I don't have any kids. So I said, I'm going to spend all my money until the day I'm gone. I'm going to have a great time. I'm going to travel and take care of the Lampley. And I'm also going to support all of the businesses I can. I try to support purveyors like no other. If you make a good product and it makes sense, I'm going to support you and I'm going to bring you on. I have given light to amazing purveyors. They've made a lot of money off of me, more money than I make off of me. And that warms my heart. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna travel the world and enjoy it, enjoy life. And while my heart's still beating, I want to see as many things as I possibly can. And that's what I'm gonna do in 5 years. That's my goal.
Awesome, awesome. Well, man, just I mean, looking forward to seeing the growth. Looking forward to you getting that bag, and being able to
Yes,
to the
yes.
sunset. And don't forget a player.
I won't. I don't forget anybody.
I
I
know.
do not. I
Yeah.
do not.
But
Y'all
no,
can come on the private jet. Let's go.
no doubt, no doubt. I definitely make sure. But yeah, it was a pleasure chatting with you. Definitely thank you for joining me this evening. Thank you for the jewels of wisdom. Thank you for sharing your experience. Thank you for being vulnerable and being transparent, as you always are. And I just
My pleasure.
hopefully, and I'm sure that people who view this is going to really find some value and find some insight and some wisdom on some of the things that you share. So I just want to thank you, Chrishon, for
Anytime,
joining me
Jason.
this
My
evening,
pleasure.
and it's been a pleasure.
Anytime, Jason. You got
All
it.
righty. All right. Talk to you soon.
Take care.
Bye. All right. And that concludes this week's episode of the Entrenality Podcast Live. I'm Jason William Johnson. I'm signing off, and I'll see you guys next week.